guys, uh, short video here for you this evening. Kind of want to go over some of the things we've been doing, getting ready for the season. Comes up pretty soon. I mean, we're pretty much there. Got about 30 or 40 days, and bow season kicks off here in Ohio. So, we're right up against it, and hopefully you guys are prepared and got all your food plots in and got your trail cameras and getting good pictures of bucks and just kind of getting your game plans together for the season. I know we fell a little behind here on our end. Dad had his hip replaced back in June, but making strides moving forward and trying to get everything set up now that he's able to get around a little better. And so yeah, I got two different setups I'm trying to put together for this fall here and kind of get into them a little bit. And I built some newer arrows, fell down the internet rabbit hole last year on the heavy arrow stuff that was floating around. I'm sure if anybody in the archery community has been paying attention, you've heard about the Ed Ashby stuff, and you've heard about this guy named the Ranch Fairy, and everybody claims it's a gimmick and everybody claims it's outlandish, and they look at you like you got two heads if you even mention going above 600 grains. And but I digress. I fell down the rabbit hole, and last year I had made some arrows that were 580 grains, and they flew great. I mean, they flew better than I expected them to, because again, last year I was skeptical about this stuff. I went through this process. I went through the tuning and the knock tuning and the making sure that you put the veins on correctly and making sure that your broadheads were flying with your field points. And I went through all of that process and ended up harvesting a hog last year with the arrows that I built that were about 580 grains. So I said, oh, if it'll harvest a hog, much like Troy Fowler says, it's a very sturdy animal, and if it'll harvest that, it'll harvest a deer. But unfortunately, I didn't get the opportunity to fling one at a deer last year, but I retooled some of the arrows that I built. I made them a little more heavy with a little more FOC, and I changed the broadheads. So the arrows I'll be shooting this year out of the tree stand are going to be these 240 spine, or 250 spine, gold tip Airstrikes. And I'll have the 4-blade double bevel iron wheel 150 grain S series on the front. And last year I had Black Hornets, and I had the Stinger and Stinger Buzzcut broadheads that I was playing around with, and I liked them. They flew like darts. I can't say that they were bad arrows, bad broadheads by any means, but I was looking for something a little heavier, so I added 25 grains, so that upped my FOC slightly, and put it right around that 18-19%, which I'm shooting a 29-inch draw length, and I think these fully measured from knot groove to tip of broadhead are like 31 inches with the, by the time you take into account the outsert and then the collar and then the broadhead. So yeah, I'm right at 31 inches on these, and my bow's pulling at 72 point some pounds, so they're going to be flying way faster than they need to be lethal. But I'm looking forward to actually getting the chance to harvest a deer with them this year out of the tree stand. Last year I had made some arrows that were from Aerotech. They were MT300s. Again, they're super durable, super great arrows. I actually put feathers on them. See if I got one laying here. Yeah. Yeah, I had one leaning up against my gun case here. So these are the MT300s. Like I said, these are really durable arrows. I absolutely love shooting them. I mean, these things flew like darts out to 60 yards. I couldn't have asked for a better setup. I couldn't have asked for a better arrow last year. But I was just looking for something a little different, a little heavier, not as much in the actual shaft of the arrow, but in the front end. So I got some screw-in weights. I put them in the back of the insert, and I got a heavier broadhead to kind of offset the fact that I'm shooting vanes on these instead of feathers. And then I'm actually not shooting lighted knocks out of the tree this year due to FOC issues. I wanted to stay about 19%, and I was really kind of pushing that that's where I wanted to be. And it turns out that with these arrows, they have a collar on them, a knot collar, and I wanted the structural integrity not to be messed with. So I decided that the arrows were designed to be shot with those knot collars, and I didn't want to fool with I didn't want to fool with the lighted knocks, I should say. So yeah, that's going to be my setup for tree stand hunting. Ground blind hunting, I'm doing something a little different. So out of the tree, I'm shooting the Bear Status EKO cam, 72 pounds. However, out of the ground blind, I have a 2018 Bear Kuma that I shot all indoor last year at various 3D shoots, and I decided that I wanted to try to hunt with it. Well, it originally had the Trophy Ridge React 1 Pro sight on it, which is a single pin slider sight. I decided that I was going to turn it into a hunting bow after I'd shot probably 4 or 5 3D rounds with it, and I said, I can really pound with this. I want to take it hunting. So I took the housing off, the scope off the housing of the React 1 Pro, and I fit a Ultra View scope on it. And I'm excited to take that out in the field and see what I can do with it. So with that setup, however, I have a different arrow I'm running, and I am shooting lighted knocks out of that because there's not as much FOC issue that I'm facing because the arrow shaft is way lighter. So what I'm shooting out of the ground blind this year is going to be these gold tip Hunter XTs and the 340 spine, and they got the green lighted knock from Nocturnal, but we've got the Stinger Buzz Cut 4-blade double bevel that I'm actually gonna be shooting out of that bow. And I honestly don't know which one I'm more excited to hunt with. I know that it's gonna be awesome regardless. I'm hoping I can put one on the ground with both, that way I can compare, and I'm hoping that I can get it on film because that's gonna be awesome. Kind of want to compare the higher FOC harvest to one that's kind of standard. Yeah, the broadheads on the Hunter XTs are still 150 grains. However, there's not the loaded front weight. I mean, the front insert of those arrows are still only the 20-25 grain inserts, and then the 175 grains of the arrow is in the tip, but you know, it's more of a balanced arrow than a front of center heavy arrow. And I'm hoping to be able to take a deer with both of them, kind of compare how they how they do damage. But with that, I hope that all of you out there are prepared, ready to go. Because like I said, we're up against it. We're about to it, and I look forward to hearing your guys' success stories. I also look forward to hearing all of the stories where you messed up, because we're human, and that's the great part about this bow hunting adventure that we go on every year, is you can't predict it, and sometimes it makes you look like a fool, and other times it makes you look like a hero. But be safe out there, shoot straight. I wish everybody the best of luck on this season, and if you need anything, reach out to me in the comments. Get with me on Instagram, Facebook, Southwest Ohio Outdoors, Southwest Ohio Bow Hunter on Instagram. But that's going to do it for this video. God bless. Bye.